why does the industry suddenly find itself short of containers?
Well, we have a record disparity between imports and exports in the United States. Starting mid last year, people began buying a lot of goods because they couldn't buy services. They're refurnishing their homes, things of that nature. And that continues today on the top of the stimulus money that's in the economy. And then I think now, because of reliability concerns, you're seeing large importers advancing their shipments ahead of the Christmas season to get ahead of the feared uncertainty in the supply chain. So it's kind of a domino effect.
So most goods that come in from foreign ports come in via container ships. I was out on Long Island, and I was watching the ships sitting off of Long Beach trying to come. I guess they were trying to come into the port of New York. Is port capacity a problem as well as container shortage?
Well, what we've learned is that import supply chain capacity is fairly rigid across the board. 50% of the container volume in U.S. ports is through the three major ports, L.A., Long Beach, and New York. So you have waiting time in L.A., Long Beach, and New York, and a few other major ports. The top four ports all have significant waiting time. And then there's not a lot of new port capacity. It takes a long time to build new port capacity. We built the first new terminal in the U.S. since 2009. The next new terminal probably is in 2030. So there's not enough distribution center capacity. Retailers need more capacity. So there's really a domino effect. Also, truck capacity is very, very limited to move containers as well.
It shows you just how fragile just-in-time inventory management, I guess, can be, number one. Number two, I guess it's a perfect time to make an ad for the ports in South Carolina. If you don't have backlogs and people aren't waiting there, send those ships in New York down your way. But then you point out that, well, there aren't the trucks there to take the goods, maybe.
Right, and imports go to where people live as well. But I mean, certainly we have capacity, but it's a whole network of capacity that's got to be taken into consideration. And the reality is the velocity in the supply chain is slowing down. Dwell times for imports are up 3 days. It doesn't sound like a lot, but across the board, it has a significant impact on the reliability of the supply chain.
What does that mean? Dwell times? Did I hear you correctly? What is that?
In other words, a typical import container would sit 4 days on the terminal prior to its being picked up. It's now sitting 7 days on a terminal. And when that's an average, you realize that means some containers are staying too long and affecting subsequent arrivals of ships and things of that nature.